and that's how you can turn the judgment even of a state government to your beneficial. And that's the power of common man that we have seen in recent days.
She gave the example of Telangana forest. We have many other examples also. We have the example of Narmada Bachao Andolan by Medha Patkar, where only few numbers of people were protesting for this against that Sardar Sarovar dam which was constructed in Bharuch, Gujarat. So only few people were protesting, including Medha Patkar. And because most of the people and the government was against that protest and they wanted to construct that dam, it was constructed and that protest was going in ruin. It was ruined by then government, and Sardar Sarovar dam was constructed, and the many acres of land, lakhs of acres of land of farmers of Gujarat got submerged in the catchment of that Sardar Sarovar dam. So the human values got killed by democracy, which I say majority. It is not democracy. It should be given the other name of majoritarianism, Bahusankhyak, not the democracy, because you are listening to 100 voices, but you are not listening to those 2 voices who were correct. You are ruining those 2 voices, and we saw this in Narmada Bachao Andolan.
Okay, you have talked about the dam. It was so what to say कि recent जैसे होते हैं कि past की अगर देखा जाए तो it was a wrong decision, but we see far sighted.
Yeah, it looks that you cannot see the far-sightedness of the decision, and the time will actually tell the ultimate truth.
Yeah, we can see the point of that decision. The product, the construction of dam has beneficial for many purposes, and it provides water for agriculture like there also. I'm not particularly sure about the story, but I know why dams are constructed in such a way. Because in recent days we see the people are using the lands, but they must be provided some other lands to do the agriculture, and there must be a greater benefit for that. Government has taken that initiative.
No, it's not about pros and cons of dams. Many people were supporting it. Government supported it. All other agencies also supported it. But what about the voices of that 2 people who were raising their voice against those farmers, for those farmers, not against, for those farmers. So those voices should also be heard. But unfortunately, in democracy, the voices of minority got killed.
So
They felt unheard. This is the big problem in democracy.
there is a quote in Mahabharata that for greater benefit you can neglect the lesser people. Like if there is a benefit for a country, you can neglect one village because more people will get benefit from that particular decision.
But what about the suffering of all those minority people?
They must have provided some things, otherwise they must have given some other.
You see, in democracy, it is not democracy, it is elite rule. It is elite rule. People, you see, in last 75 years of independence, most of the people who belong to particular families, particular dynasts, they are getting into power. So, a common man, you see from very beginning, from Jawaharlal Nehru to Indira Gandhi to Rajiv Gandhi, all are getting in power just because their forefather was in power.
But we have also an example of Modi ji.
Yeah, you see the example of Modi ji. Modi ji in power because of Adani. Because of elite rule only. If there was not the support of Ambani and Adani on the back of Narendra Modi, he would not be the Chief Minister of Gujarat and he would not be the Prime Minister of India. Because of elite rule only. Because of this elitism in the name of democracy, these people are coming into power. Not the common person, not the common people like all of us. Can we dream of becoming even MLA?
Why are you mum? Because of democracy, actually.
You see this is democracy. You see this is democracy. Only people coming from Raghuvanshi caste and Jain
You are
caste.
saying that Modi ji came from the elite rule. But why does he stay for 15 years? Does that rule?
Because of elite rule only.
No, if people have power to get down you. People have, we have seen in recent election that Modi ji wins by maximum support of the other parties also. So why did it happen? Because there are people who were not agreed with him, who were not okay with the decision that he has taken. So somewhere it has affected his will, even when he has the support of an elite person behind him. Why does it happen?
I am saying, first you take the example of Ganjrasada. What is happening in our Ganjrasada? You see, in last 25 years, from year 2000, we all people belong to that particular age group. We are seeing this from 20-25 years. So for last 20-25 years, you see only two castes, two sections of society are getting representation in the politics of Ganjrasada. That is Raghuvanshi and Jain. You see only Hari Singh Patta and Jains are becoming MLA on the soil of Ganjrasada. So this is called democracy. Are we not human? We have the right to. We should also have that right to become MLA. Narendra Modi. What Narendra Modi did in last, he became Chief Minister of Gujarat in 2001-2002. He came in part just because of his good friend. Adani is very good friend of Narendra Modi. So he had all the financial backup available. Narendra Modi had all the financial backup available, and because of Adani only, Ambani and Adani only. And whatever we are seeing, our mind is captured. Our mind is captured by social media. Our mind is captured by paid media, which is called Goli media.
And see your mom actually, why don't you take examples of actually Chinese system of government and it is Bangladesh and including all Asian countries.
Because I am not aware more about politics.
Oh,
He's
that's
more
why you are
into
lagging.
That's right.
Actually, in Bangladesh, what is happening, it was all because of democracy. Hasina, Sheikh was democracy, the government was democracy.
Yeah, you
That's
said
what, that's what the,
You gave the example in my favor, sir. You gave the example in my favor. What happened in Bangladesh? The maximum numbers of people was against the Sheikh Hasina. The majority population of Bangladesh came against Sheikh Hasina, who was doing good of Bangladesh. And somehow the deep state of America supported that opposition of Sheikh Hasina, who is the current Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Yunus Khan. So the deep state of America supported Yunus Khan, and somehow America gave funding to Yunus Khan and the rebels of Sheikh Hasina, and the democratic government of Bangladesh was removed, and Sheikh
But
Hasina is the
you have seen
refuge.
the power of the people there. Why she get removed? Why she ran away from the country? Why? Because people were against her. So
Yeah,
that's
people
where.
were against her. She was doing good of Bangladesh. You see, Bangladesh was doing great in terms of economics, in terms of finance, in terms of all the things. Bangladesh was doing great, but now Bangladesh is modern.
Okay, if you are not getting the democracy point, then we will fall so shift to monopoly. Opposite of democracy is a monopoly. We are seeing an example of monopoly in North Korea. What is happening there? One person leading the whole
Dictatorship.
country.
I'm not supporting dictatorship at all.
Okay, but we are seeing an
Actually,
example of.
Democrats are becoming dictators. You see Indira Gandhi. You see
Narendra
Modi.
Modi.
But they are not becoming dictator because people are there to judge them. People are there to decide judge their decisions and to even raise their voice. We have many examples of such. If we go into history, we have seen the case of Keshav Anand versus the state of Kerala, where he has turned the whole decision of Supreme, where he was against the Supreme Court. Like there must be a constitution where the betterment of the people should not be heard. So it's known as the fundamental rights case.
Yeah,
That's what the
it
power
is,
of the common man in this constitution we have seen.
You see, he gave the example of judiciary. What is happening in judiciary? In judiciary also the same is happening. People coming from same family background, dynasty families are becoming chief justices and judges in Supreme Court. Means
But they
in
are eligible.
at least in politics, in legislature, it is not sure that the son of prime minister would become prime minister. You are seeing the example of that. Rahul Gandhi. And but in judiciary it is sure. If your father is Chief Justice of India, you would be the Chief Justice of India.
No, it's not sure. It totally depends on the skill that you have. If you
Nepotism all everywhere.
if you have skill, if you are eligible to sit there, if you are qualified, if you can qualify the exam, then only you can sit on the Chief Justice chair. It's not like if your father is. We have seen many examples of IAS and
You
IPS
can be
officers.
advocate just by cracking exam. You crack the exam and you would become advocate. But what about the journey beyond advocatism? You would become advocate
If you
in
are
Supreme
not
Court.
skillful, if you are not skillful, and if you cannot advocate your own clients, how would you
All skillful people would not become the Chief Justice in Supreme Court because their father would not Supreme. I do work hard. I work hard a lot, and I would crack exam of civil judge. I would be there in Supreme Court, but I cannot become judge in Supreme Court. I would not become Chief Justice in Supreme Court because my father was not Chief Justice in Supreme
No,
Court.
it's not the eligibility of.
It is elitism. It is elitism. It is elitism which is actually happening in judiciary of India. It is happening. And you see the recent example that Delhi High Court judge,
Court judges collegium.
because of collegium procedure, skillful people and common people like us cannot at the head chair of the judiciary, apex court of the judiciary in this nation, because of collegium system, because the majority is there in collegium system, and only those people who want to find majority, they would become eligible for become would become Chief Justice in this nation. This is hard reality. In Delhi High Court, a judge, crores of cash was found in the home of that judge, and he was not terminated, sir. He was not suspended. He was transferred to Allahabad High Court. You see judiciary.
That's an
It is,
example of corruption.
and it is democracy. It is democracy. What is it is happening?
It's not democracy.
So, summary is that democracy is not good for our health. We should not consume it. Just like sugar, it is just like maida, it is just like salt, which is good in taste, it feels good in taste, but it is actually not good for our health. Democracy is just like that.
And if you don't consume the democracy, then how can you live in the country where there is only a democracy? And we are one of the biggest examples of how democracy works in a country. And we have also seen the first democratic country, that is US, and how it is a superpower now. So instead of monopoly, instead of eliteness, the democracy is the best way to govern the people, to listen to them, and to make judgment accordingly.
America became superpower after becoming democracy. Now America is